We know an SEC team will be making it to Worlds from this group. Is it going to be right now at the end of this best of 5? The Eldritch Hounds, a chance to go to Worlds. The Tartarus Titans, truly, they were in the Worlds Finals last year. Have to play through this group stage tournament. Both teams, 2 bites at the apple. 1 today, 1 tomorrow for the loser. 2 best of 5s. 2 chances to qualify in. And what a story it would be for the Eldritch Hounds. You're able to beat the Titans here today and make your way to the Smite World Championship. And in the pregame interview, Crimson seemed confident that not only they would get it done here against the Titans, but then the Ravens would get it done tomorrow against the Titans in a must-win best of 5. Crazy story that would be, but starts here in our first best of 5 of the day.
It certainly does, and I'm a little bit puzzled with the Tartarus Titans draft, just because, don't get me wrong, SOT has hard carried games away before on this Uller. If this is just, hey guys, I'm feeling confident, give me the Uller, I'm just gonna
Foxy, thanks for resub.
Dominate my lane.
Think about Tier? Yeah, he's a really good laner.
Pick this into a Wheelix. You have to imagine that Oath is gonna sit this lane throughout the entirety of the early. I mean, Ducky can find many different knockups. Sock gets 1 pair of beads. And even if he tries to leap away, Oath has that unlock as well. I have to imagine the plan here is to snowball at the early game and not give the Eldritch Hounds a chance to even work any bit of their early aggression with this Awelix. But I'm thinking if Oath knows this matchup like I think he does, he's going to be at that first blue buff for sure, trying to find this Uller.
Man, God, there are just so many stories and exciting matchups to watch really across both sides, Trelly. I think Oath has all year long been talked about as the next man up, right? Because there's been a decent bit of jungle turmoil on rosters this year, changes, additions, subtractions of junglers, and every time people say, well, gotta be Oath, right? I mean, Oath is the guy. Oath is it. But what do we always say and always hear is that Oath is chosen to stick with the Eldritch Hounds, feeling like this team can get it done. And now is the culmination of a lot of that. And this is where Oath and the Hounds, whether it's today or tomorrow, could make a statement and show us exactly why they've stuck together all year long. Glad you highlight the jungle matchup, though, because Oath and Sino, even in the North American STC earlier on this year, went back and forth in some of their games. And I really like talking to Krim. I actually thought it was a great interview and a very well-spoken player, and talked about how, of course, he's scrimmed against Paul in the past, but never played against him on
He chose to
day.
stay with his team, Duelman.
You know, I almost set him up for failure. I was like,
I think it's people like, oh, they don't want to join the Scarabs
or
like some bottom SPL team. You know what I mean?
The mental. And I didn't even consider the fact that Sino has faced Paul.
It's better for them to stick with their SEC team and make it to the SPL with that team.
SEC season and has never beaten him.
Right.
Or you get what happened to the Scarabs.
Behind him. He's got, he could look towards Paul in the middle lane. He could look towards Stuart.
A perennial bottom team that always goes through roster changes.
Could come into play for sure. I mean, Oath has been diffing pretty much every jungle in the SEC throughout the entirety of this.
I don't know where he was off from. I just know he was probably on the bottom teams.
You're not looking to 1v1 too much anyways. I don't think that you're trying to bully out in a Wheelix. You're usually trying
obviously not going to get an offer on the top team.
Usually trying to just invade
top teams are already established.
Sustain, that sort of thing. So I don't imagine we're going to see too much.
I think they've actually qualify and play-ins.
But once level 5 hits,
if they get their shit together, they have a chance. The way they played yesterday, definitely not.
This is a pick that really can run away with the game, even after the Uller nerfs. Can be so annoying to lane against. You step up, try and fearless the wave, get stunned out, he jumps away, pokes you out.
These things aren't public knowledge, Duelman.
The smallest bit of pressure.
Not every offer gets publicly
look, Ducky
announced.
Already. I mean, it's about a half level, but Ducky has felt okay on this tier so far. Walks forward, clears out the wave. And dropped a couple Totem of Coups, maybe as expected, early in this lane to the tier, or to the Uber rather, but still able to build up some pressure. And that's been a great story for the Eldritch Hounds. And Krim has talked about how Ducky has infused such a level of confidence to this Hounds team. And it's not just intangible, team booth, team comms type confidence. The level of play that Ducky has brought. Now, we've only seen the Hounds play one set, but it looked really good against a Valhalla Valkyries team that beat the Eldritch Hounds 2, 3, 4 times previously here this year. It's now set up this team for success. So both squads here, Hounds and Titans, we've only gotten one look at. Both of them 2-0s in the first set of the weekend for these teams. And it's that level 5 pivot point here, Traily. Oath's got the blink, but so does Sino, and we know that Sino not the type of player who sits back, almost regardless of the pick that he's playing. It'll be interesting to see how both junglers choose to play around the mid lane, I think, here this game. Krim obviously going to be scaling up nicely on this Baba Yaga. Paul, late game, we know what Tiamat can do, but don't get to see this pick all that often in the current meta. Think it's an opportunity for some pressure, or are we staying away from the mids?
No, I'm not fighting near Baba or Tiamat for quite some time. I mean, Paul, in general, likes to sit back and farm up unless he's playing one of those assassins. Talking about typical mage Paul.
Right.
He wants to farm as
The
quickly as
first
possible,
skirmish is going to
farm
determine
whenever
so
possible.
much,
And
especially if one of
Baba
these
Yaga
junglers
wants
die.
to do the same thing. Crimson is probably just going to be using that pot to blast off to all sorts of farms, split the Scorpion, run over, do his own red buff, maybe even solo green if Quig's not there in time, and he's going to be fine for it. You want that Baba Yaga online. You want those stacks done as soon as possible, where Paul already finished that Book of Thoth. Crim has not yet to finish and start getting those stacks online. You want him to fast track the late game. You don't want to try and find too many ganks. The only thing that Oath might do is try and pull Paul's beads if he tries to leap away.
Right.
But I don't imagine there's too much kill potential. You got so much CC immunity already for Tiamat's kit.
Comp-wise, I would pick the Hounds,
When she jumps
but
out of that quadrupedal
I think the
This is a really good
Titans
pick
might
for
just
Paul.
be better.
Remember, in Worlds of Past, we've seen Paul on a signature few, and Tiamat has always been a consistent look for the mid lane of whatever team Paul's been playing on. Titans really comes to mind. This
Really, K-Smooth?
Same org for Paul. You know, the duo lane also with plenty of wrinkles in it in a best of 5 set. I'm sure Dude Man Bro, such an aggressive and confident player, and Stewart, I think, has grown into his own confidence here with this Titans team. In the Danzaburo pick, look, that requires a baseline level of gusto, I think, to play. And Dude Man Bro, of course, has got it, and it feels pretty confident playing alongside Quig on the Maui. It always ends up being the question of, can you get ahead? Are you playing from behind? You definitely don't want this Danzaburo to fall behind. Looks like he's doing okay for now. Because later on in the game, if the Hounds want to be aggressive, Trilly, you got a Danza Rocket to start things off. It's another facet of initiation should this team choose to play through their duo.
yeah,
Seems like the
Risto.
Hounds have been liking this pick for Dude Man Bro just because even in the jungle later on towards like Fire Giant, Dude Man Bro has that ability to say, hey, there's a low health target. I don't have Rama snipes. I
Next
can't go
week,
up in
yeah,
the sky
let's
to
see.
finish it off, but
January
I can go to the
13th.
rocket and chase you down and very easily finish that kill as well. Not to mention the quick rotations. I mean, Dude Man Bro can hop into the leaf, go about halfway to Gold Fury, then ult all the way over to mid lane if he needs to, if the fight calls for it.
Hello,
Stewart is a
Stephen
player that
Gaspia,
he's not gonna be intimidated by the amount of
JAMIBUYPP,
aggression
Percy
that the Hounds have
V3
drafted,
Dance.
though.
What's
He
up,
will
guys?
Get his farm, play safe. Throughout the entirety of his career, he's always been doing that, even if his team's getting farmed. He's underneath the tower, 0-0-0, at least staying neutral or relatively even in these sort of matchups. So I don't think it's going to matter too much. Ramadus has that late game hard carry potential, and Stewart just wants to try and get to that as quickly as possible. Not too much scrapping, though. I mean, the game is still incredibly even. Not too many invades either. It's pretty much just been, you know, do your farm, maybe try to force a relic, but no relics have been used.
No.
So it's been very passive early on, but maybe some sort of aggression towards Oath. Not
Can't
gonna be
jump
able to
that
push up
Oath.
just yet.
Oh, might not.
Ah!
The jump Oath just won't get out, and that's first blood to the
Is
Titans.
he trolling?
And it is
He just
awkward
panicked
at
so
best
hard.
for
There's
the
no
Eldritch
jump
Hounds
over
jungler,
there.
And a simple one for the Titans
He
jungler.
just
and
panicked
Sino
so
on the
hard.
jock.
He
Who will
panicked
grab
so
it?
hard.
You can see Oath desperately trying to get out of things there, unable to do so.
That is like the
That's
thickest
good
part of the
clean line
wall.
communication
There's
from
like
the Titans, something that maybe their fans feel like they've been missing
no
towards
jump
the
there.
end of Phase 3 and during the Phase 3
Yeah, that's what I'm
playoffs.
saying. He panicked. That is
Team
common
maybe
knowledge.
felt a bit
Everyone
out of
knows you
sorts
can't
at
jump
times,
that.
But a nice 4-man grouping and a spearheaded attack like that's a great way to start.
It's not even
Realized
close.
Both had blink. If he attacked anything, he was going to be in combat, wouldn't be able to get out, didn't have any beads. And Oath was confident, right? He knew, hey, all I have to do is jump over any sort of CC, and I'll be fine. But he went right to that wall and could not find the tier 2 tower he could leap over. And then just gets a great CC chain, and Sino gets credit for that first kill. Not going to net too much, just that the value of that first blood. A little bit later on, maybe a Pyromancer could be in question, but with how tanky Ducky is and the fact that Sot doesn't have that Transcendence stacked up just yet, maybe a risky call. Either way, it won't spawn in for 30 seconds, and actually the mid-Trebuchet has been launched. Crimson might be able to get some good tower damage here at the very least, as Dudeman Bro also going to try to invade the purple buff.
Wow, Dudeman Bro's got Interceptor and a level lead over Stewart. Steals away the purple as well. And so an early trend to follow on the left side of the map is the Danzaburo's got pressure. The Danzaburo, I mean, you know, in all likelihood, about a half-level lead maybe over Stewart. But if he's able to farm up the Interceptors on cooldown, get his own purple buff on cooldown, put pressure on Stewart's purple buff, that's where you can see the level and the gold lead really start to expand for Dudeman Bro over on left. Both supports have rotated out a bit. Aurora takes a little bit of a role in the first blood that the Titans got, but haven't seen Quig or the rest of the Eldritch Hounds do much. Maui, you know, Trelly, upon release, I think there were some questions on how much we would see it. It's been
watching this solo lane, so funny. It's just Ducky trying to juke all of Sot's abilities.
Initiation from the ult, just a big island pull. It's just often so impactful, especially later on, those jungle fights. It's a treat to watch, and Quig has played it well.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the amount of CC he brings, while also bringing tons of early pressure, is not to be undervalued. But once again, Oath in trouble. Sot, if he has the axe, and he does, Oath is gone.
My goodness, they do it again. The Titans just run back their previous play, and it's Oath dropped to 0-2. Quig and mid swinging away as well. Now Ducky supplies decent bit of damage.
They're just looking for Oath, bro, with the chalk.
Two targets are going to be building full damage, and I think that's a trend worth talking about at some point here, Trelly, is the Titans will pick up the Pyro. Sot still just zoning out Ducky, trying to delay some wave. But it looks like the Pyromancer is going to get dropped by the Tartarus Titans here. 2 kills plus Pyro, and a nice lead built up, about 1,000 now, after what was a very slow first 10 minutes of this game. And it's just been a run
beats
back
every Uller, bro.
The same play a couple of times. Let's catch Oath on the back camera.
You can't be impressed by someone that just plays quick, bro. They move their camera quick, like they're fucking spazzing out. That's not how you play Uller.
Probably both of those times, but when you know you don't have beads, when you know you can't.
It's all about hitting your shit,
you're gonna get
no matter how you do it.
CC, man, you're kind of forced to make that play. Dudeman Bro, not afraid of this at all. Maybe needs to be. Goes into the rocket. Hits the wall.
Yeah.
It could be chased down here, but it looks like the rest of the team is here as well.
Fuck?
They'll be okay for now, but now doesn't have ult. Could get rooted in place. Paul's going to rotate out of mid. Into the stealth, into the leaf. Dudeman Bro will get away. SOT is here as well. Now it's Ducky rotating left, so you might get the idea. The Gold Fury's going to be under some pressure here soon. Aurora will get his ult back shortly. Dudeman Bro a bit further away from the same. And everyone's got their relics ready to go, except Sino. No beads for 10 seconds. Aurora uses his ult to counter out the pull from Quig. And it's Sino in.
Big ass chalk ult.
Silence on the Dudeman Bro. He'll get the kill, but Crimson trades out onto Sino. And now suddenly Ducky, the tier, surging forward. And from behind, the Eldritch Hounds have flipped this fight. For now, it's a 2-for-1. Sot pre-beads his, but Oath with some chase down, and Ducky with the same.
No way, Oath doesn't jump that axe, bro.
Yeah, Sot uses those beads and hits the axe perfectly to make sure Oath can't chase that one down. And Ducky is trying to pull it a little bit, taking a lot of damage though. There's some good CDR here for Sot, and he wants to go back in.
This is awkward. Stewart's got to use the beads. Ducky's going to get chased down. Quig can swing away. Now Ducky has enough mana, but Crim eats the axe from SOT. Nearly had burst damage on the back end, but won't.
Yeah, so bro, did you see his first death? His first death was all nerves. He tried to jump over a wall that's unjumpable.
Yeah, back. That engage. Remember, it was 2 early kills on the Quig to give the Titans the 2.
Like, there's no jump over there, like where he was trying to jump at all.
And a game equalizer for the Eldritch Hounds. Big fight for the SEC team.
Yeah, that's a good comeback for Oath as well. I mean, falling down twice at his back camps and then able to get a return kill and getting that kill onto Crimson certainly helps you out and make sure that Sino can't keep, you know, that momentum up.
And thank you, Remote Gifted Darts as well.
Killing spree, and that was shut down quickly. But the Gold Fury still stands tall.
So Wiggy, thank you, thank you.
Used his ultimate to try to clean out the landfall, did it. Then unfortunately got knocked up again.
Woke up 40 minutes ago and I'm like, oh shit, the games are starting.
Plays all around there from the Hounds, and they pulled ahead just for a moment there, gold-wise. Still are ahead, but it's negligible. A little bit of farm will go the whole way, but The
important thing right now is the Sylvanas is behind. That's a prime target. No beads. If they can continually one-shot the Sylvanas off the Willick Salt, that's huge.
Underneath that tower,
but the thing is, right? So whenever they all in, Sylvanas Chaka's gonna blink ult, so they gotta watch out for these things. But they have like Baba ult.
Tartarus Tides have shown
really good into that.
To pull this whenever. They're gonna group and head, I guess, just towards the Fury to look around. Maybe a red buff invade or maybe a pull if they're feeling confident.
Ducky goes back and starts to hover towards left, where SOT is still on the right.
I mean, Sylvanas probably gonna die every fight, but he's just bait. Meditation. His 2 is all. He's just gonna try to live as long as possible. Group him up for the rest of his team.
5v4 type of pull, but it looks like we'll reset. Now, so much of what we talked about with Ullr solo is just a masses lane pressure. Right?
If the Sylvanas eats like a Willick Salt, Bob and all that other stuff, the Titans could win the fight easily.
Have you seen enough return on investment from the Ullr solo? You're expecting high pressure in that lane. Hasn't quite played out like that. However, has impacted.
Man, bro, going crit because they literally have no tanks.
I definitely haven't seen the aggression in lane, but you're up against tier. You're not going to be dominating that lane as is. However, I mean, Sot hasn't been aggressed on at all. I mean, Oath has been so far behind, he can't really go over to this Ullr and try and gank. So Sot's been able to free farm. If he gets to that late game with a Titan's Bane and a Heartseeker, all sorts of full burst damage, it's not going to be the tanks. It's not going to be Ducky that cares. It's going to be the squishies. I mean, Oath will not be able
Warlock
to
Staff is good, but other items just do way more damage.
Forced into the beads last time just by taking that axe. Big damage coming from him as well. It's going to be the squishier targets of the Eldritch Hounds that are.
Yeah, the Baba thing is so interesting.
More pressure over to SOT in the early. But with the itemization he's went, with that meditation in the
takes a while to get online.
He will also die very quickly. I mean, you get one set of beads. If that's gone, Oath can always just pull him right back in if he tries to leap away.
That's a good point. Get the meds for SOT. And I think the overall idea is, yes, it's an Ullr in lane, but that also means it's quad, well, it looks like quad full damage, depending on what Sino and SOT go towards the end of their build. You're going to have 4 team members on the Titans who are capable of doing a lot of damage very quickly. However,
oh yeah, sorry, Mimok, I didn't see your question.
Be capable of
the loser of this has a chance in a loser's bracket, yeah.
And Ducky has shown us
this is the weakest version of the Titans by far, yeah. They've never been this
mind brawling out with some of the squishier targets.
They've never had this rough of a time.
Okay. Wow, they're feeling confident here. The Hounds, the SEC, North American, #1 seed. Pull out the Gold Fury, testing the reaction time, I think, of the Titans here, though. Soul Lanterns have made their way left. This would be another 5v5. And in a game where
Cyclone was for sure a big part of their
balances.
Strength.
17 minutes, one big Gold Fury fight.
I mean, he was a top tier ADC, and he probably
break things open if
made a lot of calls for them.
Handedly enough. Just losing the Gold Fury, not enough. But if you lose the Fury and a fight, things look real bad. Sino wants to go, but unhappy with the options on his ultimate. Simply takes the stun and backs away. Will now use it for the CC immunity. And out he goes, but Ducky low as well. Sino nearly taken down by Crimson. It's a blink in from Oath, but no knockup and no pull. As the gravity surge waits.
Cyclone got kicked.
First big jump that Oath sees awaiting. Crimson was left behind. Now the Baba Yaga in a terrible spot, but weaves away. Can Stu hit the ults? Yes, he can.
How did he even get in pull range?
Have a one-man advantage, and they'll double down and double it. As Crim and
How did Baba even
from the map.
get into that area to be pulled?
Confident with those pulls, you can
on a poke, I guess.
Change a fight. So many
really
weak
bad.
targets there for the Tartarus Titans, but you get one pick onto Crimson, that's the end of the fight. Actually, SOT trying to box into Doomman Bro here as well.
Wow, I think Sot had more damage or maybe just hit more buttons than Doomman Bro. You know, Doomman Bro's just hoping the auto attacks start chunking. Sot, he's got those abilities, the stun, so hard to trade back into. Now this is interesting, Trelly. As a gold lead builds up for the Titans, and it'll continue to do so. Looks like a pretty simple pyro. However, Ducky is here. Ducky has been so important to this Hounds team in and out of game. They need him now to try to get a steal on this Pyromancer. Won't end the game if you lose it, but gives you a bit of extra footing.
Those minions stopped the blink.
Over the wall as well, and so a steal attempt will be there. And it's actually a pull onto a roar, but Oath won't commit on the damage. Ducky sure will. It's a push back and it's a pull back. A fantastic 1-2 from the Hounds. But you can't lose anyone in trade. As Quig left running.
Oh, Bubble.
Stewart low. And Ducky's on a warpath. But Paul, he's got something to say on the rest of this fight.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When they go on the Sylvanas, the Chalk is going to get a thick man ult.
Eases the pain of losing the Pyro.
This is what I'm talking about.
Rocket it in and try and take that fight versus
That's how they play the fights. The Sylvanas is just bait. Just there to survive as long as possible and to set up the Chalk ult.
Take some buffs in the meantime. The Eldritch Hounds are not worried about that Goldie. They are still able to find some aggression. All starts with a fantastic pull and knockup from Oath. That was a good play just from the side.
That's really rough for Stu.
Doesn't quite die, but then the wraparound from Ducky. You highlighted.
Look at the gold.
He's been on point throughout the entirety of
Dude's got to be like 1,000 gold behind.
Plays for his team. Shows up massive there. Stewart also dying and losing both relics. That's going to hurt the Tartarus Titans as well. Good news is, Fire Giant's not going to be looked at.
I hate rotating as an ADC, bro. If you die in these fights as an ADC and the other ADC lives, that's so fucking annoying.
Positioning, definitely important. That tier 1 tower missing means you're probably stuck underneath tier 2 for at least the next minute and a half.
Now, Trelly, I want to zoom in on Dude Man Bro's build here. I mean, it's nothing exciting, but maybe some of the reasoning behind it. He's gone crit, and I imagine a Deathbringer will be in here somewhere. Do you feel like this just makes more sense when there's more squishier targets on the opposing team? I mean, you're really only dealing with a Roar with overwhelming tankiness right now. Later on in the game, are we maybe going to see Dude Man Bro 2-3 tapping some of these carries with a crit build?
Oh yeah, there's absolutely no reason not to build crit when you're up against an Uller solo and Cyno's building how he is, right? The reason that Stu is forced into this build is because number 1, he's ROM and it's just good. And number 2,
I'm surprised the Valks and the Scarabs lost. SEC?
With a Glad Shield, maybe even more Fizzdy as the game continues. And he has to be
if any teams were going to lose the SEC, it was going to be the Valks or Scarabs.
Hey,
they're pretty much the perennial bottom 2 in the SPL all year.
There's going to be no tanky targets in my face. Right. I'd rather just do more damage. And you called it. Next item, Deathbringer. Didn't even go for the usual.
The Valks not winning a single game, however, is definitely surprising.
He does not care about shredding through tanky targets because there's only one. And if he's hitting Sylvanas, either the fight's already lost or it's the first pick in the fight.
Sure, he might not be in a good position if a Roar ends up being or you're in a great position. One or the other. The Eldritch Hounds. They'll now group around.
Ardenicus, thank you for the resub.
Also a Deathbringer. I mean, that's a full buy Deathbringer. I don't think he had the tier 1 or tier 2 before he went back
and
bought.
The real surprising thing was the Valks losing to the high-end Ravens. That's inexcusable. I mean, I don't know.
I wonder if this is just confidence around how they've been able to fight back in. Maybe it's confidence around how Ducky's been playing.
Oh, didn't hit.
And for good reason, because Ducky's been playing well. Now, Oath, no gravity surge for the rest of this fight. That's a swing and a miss.
Warriors or Mambo?
Maybe the
I got
Hounds
Warriors.
Take that as a sign
I'm gonna say that the games might be close.
Attempting to force a fight. The aggression potentially catching the Titans off guard, but Titans able to absorb that pressure wonderfully. The veteranship showing its colors here. And now rallying around the tier 1 tower on the Hound side of the map.
And that's a lot down. I mean, Oath had to blink in.
Try again, thank you for the resub.
Ducky had to blink in. Oath and Ducky both used ultimates and no pull onto a Roar. Just a little bit out of range. Tier 2 towers under
the Mambo, they're clean though. They got really nice engages. They engage and then
4v5,
Johnny follows up really well.
Trying to defend this as long as they don't overcommit or as long as Aurora doesn't get a nice pull. Should be able to just grab
yeah, they play like obvious. They play like good combos. They play combos that give pressure.
Sino 3 into his ult, but
shit.
it's forced counterplay.
Nice.
What's happened to Sino's health bar? You've got numbers, Titans. What's happened?
Please help out Ducky, guys.
Walks forward, the Rocket searching for a target. And Krim on a double. Quig now with the third. It's a decimation.
Oh.
It's a bloodbath over in the solo lane.
That was really good by Stu.
We'll get it done on the 1. But Ducky, Krim, Dude Man Bro, my God, what a fight from the Hounds.
Killing Dude Man Bro's huge. Okay.
Looking at Cyno's build,
this is what Darden said.
First one in the fight,
Baba is online, bro. She fucking destroyed that Chalk.
5v4 in this situation. You saw what happened. He got absolutely deleted. And it's because he's full damage Chalk. In this case, Oath wasn't even here. He got tier 2 tower in mid, and now Fire Giant's being looked at. Unfortunately, Dude Man Bro.
Yeah, how convincing the Ravens were. Yeah,
unless they hold it
biggest.
For 24 seconds.
I agree. That shit was insane.
Quick would definitely die if they do hold it. He's gonna die anyways. Quick goes down.
He laughs about it. It gives you a glimpse into, I think, the team booth right now for the Eldritch Hounds. They are sensing an opportunity. And they've already done it, I think. Maybe surprise the Titans here in game 1, but they're sensing an opportunity to take a 1-0 lead in this.
Chalk can't go in like that against fucking
move themselves.
Triple crit Donza and Baba. That's scaling.
That dream.
Baba just finished her Soul Reaver.
Of course,
It's
the dreams to win it, but
yikes.
think about that in the context.
They have no
I'm
engage
zooming
now.
way out here
They're
at this point.
they have no tank.
I'll do it while the Primal Fury gets taken by the Tartarus Titans. You're playing in the SEC all year long, and now you stuck together as a team. You've had a Ducky. You felt resurgent.
I think now
You're
the only way Titans win these fights is
fight with a
from a Sylvanas pull on a priority target where they just poke a lot, but this tier is unkillable.
Lose the Primal Fury, I don't think they're too worried about it. And now get to see how they fare with 3 minutes left on their FG buff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say they played the fight incredibly well.
Donza not having fire is big.
The advantage that the Tartarus Titans had, the 5v4, goes away when you send your full damage chalk underneath the tower. That tower is now a 5th man. It's a 5v5, and you're still dying at that point. So Oath grabs extra gold in the tier 2 and an easy fight, but now the Hounds have themselves a solid gold lead.
The Baba's online, bro. Finish starter, finish double stacking, Soul Reaver.
All sitting 2-0. He's able to finish Obsidian Shard.
This Baba has like 10,000 power.
Damage and those extra lizards.
Pretty sure this Baba has like 1,000 power with red buff.
A bit annoying, as well as there's still tier 2 towers to go.
Right.
That the Eldritch Hounds are gonna have to break through before they can even think about going.
What do you think of Deathwalker is stupid, disrespectful, or just memes? It's not disrespectful at all, bro. He's just a personality, man. He's being himself.
Right? It's been, hey, hit a knock-up onto Aurora. We're gonna pull him away from his team.
He's just having fun.
Starts. In this case, no one else has.
Let him live.
Speed, so Aurora either uses ultimate to immune the knock-up, or he's getting picked before the fight even starts.
And it's been a lot of that. I feel like it's been a lot of using Wrath of Terra, CC immunity. But then what is he? You're hoping a pull or a root?
Yeah, they're just gonna try to get the Sylvanas here on the pull.
But still, the Titans. You know, I say only, but it is only a 3,000 gold deficit that they're in here. Fire Giant for the Hounds around 3. Crimson goes crazy.
Bro, the Uller 3 did no damage to Oath. That is not a good sign. That is not a good sign. Uller does no damage.
See squishier targets, feels good. Ducky, why wouldn't he?
You see how Ducky's trying to get the knockup?
Tier 1 Phoenix, there's only one. Maybe that's why you wouldn't, because you take some return damage. Remember, Stewart saw it.
Careful, boys, taking his poke.
That's rough.
Quig will also eat a bit. The Hounds didn't like what they saw and left.
Yeah, Ducky blinked it and missed. He tried to just knock up Aurora, and Aurora sidestep both Fearlesses, and he's like, well, guys, I'm going to leave on how Oath
I'll head back.
Will be able to juke out and blink away. He said that same trick will not work on me 3 times. Sino does not connect with the ult, does not put him in combat, and Oath actually lives this time around. The Hounds acted like they were retreating. They just grabbed a red buff. They're heading right back under this left side Phoenix, while the rest of the Titans, they're on the right side of the map. They have to back.
Oh, Paul could be in some trouble here.
Oh my God!
Maybe shows the hand a bit early. Quig,
I think that was fine.
Really initiates, still is. Leaps over, doesn't get the stun.
Does Baba doesn't catch him?
Crimson
Does he?
it, though.
Oh
Sends some
shit!
firebolts towards the Tiamat.
Oh
my
what
God!
a play!
The coordination from the Hounds is perfect. Quig though is pulled back in. He will solar swing away. Snipes from Stu. 1 and 2. 3.
Oh, nice.
That's all he needed. Doesn't hit it. Now the Hounds with a clean advantage. Quig's got to leave though. So
that was well played.
4v4.
Yeah,
or does he?
He's gonna stick around. Maybe drop his 2 just to HP 5 up. But Fire Giant.
Ducky should just go in hard. Oh, Fire Giant's out. Yeah.
They're welcome, and they realize
fine,
they
leave
are gonna back.
They saw fire. I would just say, Tier, go in there. Get the fuck in there.
Losing both relics. It was so pristinely timed. I mean, they wanted to make sure they could get that pull back, and Oath was also there. The pull into the pull, quite the combo to make sure that Tiamat goes down. And now, if Paul
waited for the Aegis to pull, no, you could beat. It's
gonna be quick. It's about 30 seconds away.
Wait for so you could. Oh, so you can all. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Be getting pulled back in by Oath. You can switch up your strategy from hey, let's pull an Aurora to let's pull on the Tiamat that does way more damage and is much easier to kill.
Crazy coordination from the Eldritch Hounds. You know, again, it's the context of these SEC teams coming in and looking dominant. Obviously, they practice and they play their games every week, and they put as much time into it as they can, but they're really making do with what they've got, and the fact that Hounds, the Ravens, Hex Mambo, they've been able to step up and look so good here this weekend. Been a treat to watch. And
I don't know why teams are so afraid to play the meta, bro. Like
against a team that's known adversity all year long.
Or like what is perceived as the meta, or close to what is perceived as the meta, bro. Like the Uller solo,
back and still do here in game 1.
you know, maybe it'll do something, but like
Fire Giant was great. You knocked down a bunch of towers. You extended your gold lead.
Just looking at the Titans comp, it is so hard for them to do anything.
4,000. Later on in the game, it matters, but spread 4,000 across 5 or so. So you're talking about a couple tier 1, tier 2 items as the difference maker. Impactful, but
it's so hard for them to do anything. Like, maybe can they win with the comp? Sure, but it's just like
positioning is aggressive. Watch, dude,
so fucking hard. Now they can just fight. Ducky's in there. Oh, get the fuck in there, boys. Oh, I would have gotten in there.
Fire Giant pull and secure. Sino wasn't even here. The Titans potentially no intention of even trying to fight.
Yeah, saw it. Try to step up for the steal. That was really the only call they had. I love the play from Paul. He stayed in ground stance the entire time, saying, hey, I'm probably going to get blinked in by Ducky, so I need to be ready with my CC immunity because I don't have the...
It has anything to do with ego, guys. It could just be he thinks it's good.
Because of that hesitance, the Eldritch Hounds were able to grab regular Fire Giant. Wasn't quite enhanced yet.
Yep.
The timer did not
There doesn't need to be a negative connotation with anything that is off meta.
You got to imagine
it's something that they could think is good.
Pretty good here for the Hounds on the right side. Who's your target now? Probably looking like Aurora again.
Hell, the Hounds won a 4v5 earlier in the game. Why not take a 5v4? Once again, this tier has made life difficult. Sot without beads.
Holy shit, that tier did some damage there.
Again. Stewart goes up, down. The snipes mean nothing. And Ducky is a menace. He is going crazy in game 1. The rest of the Hounds simply back away and deal
6 lifesteal alert.
While Ducky gets it done.
If I had 6 lifesteal items, you're right. You would have lived there.
Ducky blinks in, gets a beautiful Fearless onto Sot, and he missed the ult again. Oath said, oh no, my ult didn't pull in, don't worry.
The fact that, yeah, Oath has had a really bad game. And the fact that the Hounds are winning, despite Oath being this bad, or like this, like nervous or whatever, this game is scary for the Titans. Because once Oath gets comfortable and plays well,
take a look at those beads, none are up. They've got plenty of opportunities, and Oath's ultimate is already off cooldown.
The deepest breath I've ever seen Quig take was just now.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is draft. Like, I told you guys, you asked me who do I pick. I picked draft-wise, I picked the Hounds. But I thought the Titans might just be better. But that doesn't seem like the case.
The Hounds aren't worried about it. As their support will get his second. And the second Phoenix of the game also falls. Oath will have to scurry away to avoid the stun. Is this a desperation play, though, from the Tartarus Titans? Oath is low.
They could get in. They could turn.
To respawn out
all right, back up, I guess. I would have fucking gone in there.
Now, 2 Phoenixes
I don't understand,
down.
Yeah.
Ones to have down, Trelly. Opposite sides of the map, still a minute and a half on FG.
Yeah, they can grab the Oni Fury as well. That's going to start to add up. The Obelisks have spawned back in, so another Trebuchet.
We were just talking about, like, the Uller pick and just, like, why these teams just refuse to play what the meta is. We're close to it.
It's just so easy. You see one pair of beads down, and Ducky says, I'm on it. I'll go fetch you a kill. I'll pull him back in, and that's what's been happening consistently. Again, last time, the ult was a bit off the mark on that right side bird, but it didn't really matter. Wheelix has that 100-0 potential when your Uller has meditation. If your Uller has Aegis, maybe a little bit different, but that's not the call that was made. Sot wanted cooldown reset. He wanted to be able to spam abilities, and now I think it's hurting him.
Oh, I think it's crazy that the Hounds are winning with Oath having a rough game, bro. And when Oath starts
jungle, they're gonna try to take a fight with all these
playing well, hopefully next game, that's gonna be tough for the Titans.
Sino will be the first in. Where will his ult land? It's on to Oath. Oath takes burst from Sot. And Oath should be cleaned up here. Yes, the snipes from Stewart. It's a good start, but
just go in, boys. Just go in.
Far forward. He's got to leap away. Now Ducky on the tier. Done it all.
Oh my God.
Do it again. Aurora melted.
That Maui ult, bro.
As well. Dude, man, bro, with 2. And there's some low health targets around the corner. Can the Donza burrow?
Donza has all.
Here he comes right down Main Street. And Paul's going to learn what a crit feels like. Triple kill for DMB. Sino retreats into the fountain. And now it's about how many kills can the Hounds get, because the Titans gonna drop an SCC takes game 1.
I just cannot imagine the Tartarus Titans thought that was a good idea. Their relics were in the graveyard. They had nothing. They got the one pick.
The set banned out. If I'm thinking about it right, this could just be immediate snap block of Ishtar, maybe Vulcan Maui here. And that's a scary top 2 for the Hounds if that's what they elect to go for.
To bring up your point that you mentioned Yamoja, we've seen one Yamoja game so far, and isn't even in the top 10 for bans. Yamoja seems to have just completely fallen off in favor of Maui. That does get drafted here. The dual lane for the Eldritch Hounds run back one more time. Dons and Maui for these guys. And not a lot of options over to the Tartarus Titans. Paul has plenty of picks.
Sylvanas, just pick it again.
The Vulcan, something that he has played in the past. Haven't seen it a lot recently.
Just pick it again.
That's been banned
just don't pick that fucking Uller again,
Vulcan
please.
Is a bit scary to play into gods like Danzaburou, having just one more thing that could full screen, full map, run you down and stun you from a distance is a bit scary. And Vulcan slightly on the less mobile side of the mage column. I am surprised though that it is Danzaburou locked in so high in the priority list for the Hounds here. I mean, there's potential that the Titans could run another double Hunter composition, toss Ishtar towards mid, have a Danzaburou for themselves in duo, but I think likelihood of that is pretty low. And had the Hounds so chosen, could have just got the Danzaburou in the next slot. Instead now, the Titans do have pick of the field. Paul's played the Vulcan to great effect throughout the entirety of this year. Could be concerned about taking it this early in the draft though. Instead, get Sino on something comfortable. The Nemesis locked back in. It's one of his go-tos.
They early picked the jungler.
But as of now,
how do the Titans expect to win Worlds if Sino can play two gods?
Those huge contention point picks, things like the Hades or things like Cthulhu that Nemesis generally in the
These
past
guys had a month to scrim, bro, and Sino's still
now
playing the
Hounds
same two
say,
gods.
Oh, let's find some inconsequential CC, some easy taunts thrown out to deal with the Nemesis.
Surely
Any form of wall really.
they practice other picks.
Dampen this entire draft already from the Titans.
Well, if you just play Vulcan,
For the Titans, the Hounds have already taken their support. So Ymir, although firmly within,
let's not be good in duel.
Likely not to get picked here, but could you imagine how scary that would be into a draft like this? If you need structures, if you're thinking about walls, maybe one place you could look is the Kambrakan, put it in the jungle. It would really deal well with the Guan Yu and the Nemesis.
As a Hachi fan, do you feel like Ishtar is an upgrade version of Hachi?
Goes back to the Yaga.
Yeah.
So we'll see the mid laner draft his pick. Maybe another structure option we could see is the Thor, something that has been very highly contentious, at least in the ban column.
I assumed it was banned.
No,
I'll be
I
real
know.
with
I
you.
mean, it's sitting right there, number 3
It's nothing
most
like
banned
that,
god
Sim. Just
throughout this tournament.
a contract for a year.
The tier. In fact, even the Dachi has made her way all the way through the bans, who has been one of the hottest bans for just about every single team. It's crazy to see some of the developments of the meta in these tournament-style formats where picks that during the regular season
that being shit
so highly contested.
coming from a guy named
Used
Used
a whole lot of
Condoms.
changes to them up until this tournament. Just seems to
Okay.
lost a little bit of favoritism there. A couple shots at Paul, though, at least to start this one out. We had the set earlier, and now the Hell taken away. And then a Khepri ban, taking a shot at Aurora, something that we haven't seen very much from Aurora in recent memory, but it's definitely a pick that Aurora has gone to in times like this.
I guess you could say the incentive to do well is to win prize money.
Ban. I think it's so smart considering how the kills would land from the
But there really
top
isn't
three
any
Titans.
until Worlds.
A double dash in from Nemesis or Guan Yu cavalry charge.
Was it close? It was sort of close, but the Hounds just had the better draft.
Would make it a bit easier to execute on that, and the Hounds don't want to have to deal with killing somebody twice, so take it off the board immediately. The Thor finally does get eyes on him, and it's the Hounds. Oath has been phenomenal on this pick, has had an amazing run.
It's not that serious.
But Thor is a god
Smite's a tier
that
3
is
esport.
maybe more so than just about any other pick in Smite, contingent on how well you're playing on day of. A Thor that's hitting every hammer, landing his dunks consistently, will dominate a map and make it nearly impossible to feel comfortable at any point to look at an objective or even get aggressive in a lane thanks to that semi-global presence. But if you're missing your hammers, if the walls aren't quite finding their home, Thor really does start to fall off. Oath doesn't have a particularly strong early game in the previous match, but I think this time around,
yes, my Tarkov drops are working now. Let's go.
Lobbed against him at his own back camps. And a shift up here. The Morrigan for the Titans. No surprise that Paul would go towards this pick, but it's not a standard Morrigan composition. As of now, not even exactly the best transformation targets.
They have good transform.
In the early game,
but I think the Titans are gonna win though.
Hercules, I
Titans making closer to normal.
From the Hounds.
I think the Titans
But
win.
otherwise, that's going to be a slow roll for Paul out of mid. And it's not as if the Morrigan is in her best position either, as just the base Morrigan. Sure, transformation's always going to find value, but since we'd last seen the Morrigan at the top of the meta, her clear is eating some nerfs, some of her burst damage is eating some nerfs as well.
Hunt Showdown better than Tarkov? You're
A
smoking.
very high execution draft. So
We're going to be seeing probably a lot of base Morgan play have to come out of Paul for this Tartarus Titans team. Hercules for Ducky once again. We've seen the kind of menace performance he's put on this god before. I mean, between the Tyr and the Hercules, I don't know which one is scarier to face up against Ducky from what we've seen just this tournament in the regular season whenever he got added on during Phase 3 for this Eldritch Hounds team. So for the Tartarus Titans, you mentioned another very high execution style of draft. Eldritch Hounds, a very easy to play solid composition, maybe outside of the Thor, where Oath is really going to have to kind of step up there. What are some of the avenues for the Tartarus Titans early game to try and not only win the early game like they did last time, but secure their lead and keep it going?
You could try and jam pressure into DMB. Again, I think it is unlikely that DMB strays away from his post at the Tier 1 tower, the enemy Tier 1 tower. He loves playing there. So having that mobile nemesis on your team, or even the potential to transform into a Thor from the Morrigan and have her have some presence on both side lanes, could make it a bit more difficult for the side lanes of the Hounds to leverage all that aggression. Otherwise, Baba Yaga, always a great target in the early, especially if she elects to go towards that stacking build. But I think it is a little bit more so about counterpunch with this draft from the Titans, unless Aurora's starting off the fights consistently with this Atlas. Otherwise, wait for that dunk from Thor, try and stop him from getting active on the map, and hope that you've got the dive in the late game to deal with some of these less mobile carries in the Hounds. If you could block the rocket ride from DMB, you probably got DMB.
So for this kind of draft for the Tartarus Titans, is this one that you would like to see them get involved early, or one that you would like to see them, as you say, maybe more so kind of counter what the Eldritch Hounds have been doing?
I think early on, you're really counterpunch. Mid-game, you're going to see some pretty significant power spikes. Nemesis in particular, at like 3 items, shifts from, hey, I'm an auto-attack god, to, hey, I've got burst damage now with the auto-attack cancels. So around that point, the Titans can get a bit more active on map. Until then, it's probably played a bit slow.
We'll see if the Titans can tie the set up, or the SCC going to go up 2-0 in the best of 5. To do that, we'll jump in to game number 2.
My goodness, what a difference we'll be looking at here after game number 2. If the Eldritch Hounds carry this momentum on, just needing to win 1 out of the final 3 to go to Worlds. Titans, though, could force at least a game 4 with a win here in game number 2. And really, Trelly, the Titans, the team, I feel like that is...
Yeah, demi side, thank you.
Changed up their composition the most, right? I mean, the Hounds, they still got a space control solo laner. Oath, of course, a bit different on the Thor, but then the same bottom 3 that worked out in game 1, but it's the Titans that's felt like they've had to make some big adjustments.
Yeah, I can't lie. I really like what the Titans have done with this draft. I think the desk is right. The Morgan is not in her best iteration of how good she's been.
The Titans, when they play closer to standard, they will win.
And Paul himself has made, and all the hard carry potential he has had on this pick.
Yep.
I mean, he's got double Nemesis late game, which is incredibly potent. It can essentially just run down Crimson whenever they want, because if you're going up into the house, you can't Aegis. There's no more peel at that point. You're getting shredded through by that amount of auto attack shred. And also, you still have that Thor if you want to transform into. I think Paul on this pick can just be extremely scary. Not only that, you got Sino on the Nemesis. You got Stewart on Ishtar, who is just the best ADC in the league at the moment. And then Sot back on a tank, who can try and deal with some of what Ducky was doing. Not to say that the Eldritch Hounds shouldn't be happy with what they got. It just seems like the Titans, they said, hey, we're done playing around. This is exactly the kind of draft that I expected from Paul after taking a rough loss in game number 1.
Now Sot.
Let's go, Kyrie. Yeah, good raids.
Something a bit more standard in the solo lane. You know, by late game,
that's really good.
Vex, Crim, gonna take
if that Paul 2 hit, Crim was dead.
Have the cooldowns. Just needs to hit the
double. He clean with it, baby. He's looking like my Thor.
And Sino, that one tower shot.
Looking like my Thor out there.
I mean, that is not an easy double tap to hit. You have to predict the full-on
Why are you guys laughing?
to the left. And Oath immediately caught that. You have to get the double tap to
had like an average of 3 PhD kills every raid. Holy shit, nice.
Paul not gonna beat. Takes a bit of damage.
Sino kills Crimson if Paul hits his 2 there, but he didn't.
And that's a great start.
That's what the whole play was.
As a Thor, you want to hit level 5 as soon as possible and look towards the targets that don't have beads. Sino is not going to be able to have ultimate. If the farm keeps up, both keeps this pace, he can just look to dunk on the Sino. That's an easy 100-0, especially if you go back and finish up.
Yeah, you guys playing me right now. My Thor's crispy.
Considering there's a Guan Yu on the other side, and Aurora's got the meditation. 1 brawler is enough, though.
I'm literally Diamond Thor.
If if Oath can land that.
This is a much better game already for Oath than last game. Last game was rough for Oath.
Or what did just happen there. But we have seen some of the SPL teams, Trelly, go down to the SEC squads and then overextend a bit in an attempt to turn the game, to turn the set around. Usually at risk of falling further behind. So trying to make something happen here by the blue buff. This one much more simple. Ducky should die here, and Ducky will. SOT will heal, dash forward, and an Eden.
What the fuck just happened to Herc?
From the Tartarus Titans. Looks like Ducky maybe got the blue buff at least.
Herc thinking he's invincible.
But the Titans
early
turn
on.
around, get the Guan Yu on the board.
Yeah, unfortunately that heal does not proc for quite some time. There was a lot of tick damage going through. Ducky would have gotten a nice bit of sustain there, but did not live.
Did Paul just do the back?
Able to teleport back
Like,
in, so didn't
no, Paul, win a game first. All right, then you can do that.
So just down the amount of the kill that SOT was able to get, and that hurts in lane, especially when, you know, Guan Yu up against a Herc, you're probably maxing the dash, or you're just avoiding driving strike entirely whenever you want to look for a kill. But just imagine Sino comes over, shreds the prots, and then use that cavalry charge to chase down Hercules. I got a feeling Sino's going to spend a lot more time over on the right side of the map now that Sot is going to be ahead.
Now I wonder. Okay, so but what about the flip side of the map here? You know, it's maybe hard to deal with what Quig and Dude Man Bro have over on left, but I'm thinking about a Danzaburo in game 1 against Aram that. It really, I mean, it was actually slightly ahead, but even if it was even, would eventually have hit all that crit. It's against an Ishtar, and so maybe are the Titans saying that Stu should be able to hold his own a bit better without jungle pressure here in game 2?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the call, but I don't think Dude Man Bro can play the same style up against a Guan Yu and a Nemesis. You can definitely build crit, but I'm thinking a
Yaga picks
and an Executioner.
She's a scaling mage.
Prioritized in this matchup, unless Dude Man Bro just wants to
pretty safe too against the dives.
Only call you says I'm only hitting
tanky mage.
Then you're leaving a lot for Erupt Crimson to try and deal with the rest of the tanky targets. In this case, who's killing the Guan Yu? So I would have to imagine that's the call here. Despite the way that Dude Man Bro likes to play, he likes to be aggressive, as we've said.
Yaga.
Stay at tower line. I'm thinking shredding through these tankier targets might take a bit higher priority now that there's not a full damage Uller in the solo lane.
Right, well, Dude Man Bro will hope that his laning phase goes
Paul probably wishing he could play set into Baba Yaga, bro.
They've been able to take a deep breath
bet they're banning it.
Game number 2. Roar will pivot to the Atlas. You know, it was such a difficult game 1 for Roar, it felt like, on the Sylvanas. You know, wanted to pull, get knockouts, initiate for his team. Often felt like he had to use Wrath of Terra for the CC immunity to avoid being pulled in. Maybe you hope, Trelly, that on the Atlas, Roar is able to take a more active approach here and impacting the game for the Titans.
Yeah, certainly does have some good opportunities to try and pull beads. Not the best matchup in the Crimson. He can sort of just go in the pod and walk away, but everyone else is going to have to respect that grab a little bit more at the very least. Oath is spending a lot more time on the left side of the map. Probably because, again, Ducky is going for a Runeforge Hammer start. He's going to be playing a lot safer in lane, seeing as he's behind. SOT already has full breastplate. I'm thinking your kill potential is all but gone over on that side. However, I mean, Ishtar could be ganked for sure. Even though the beads and the ultimate are up, there's plenty of damage coming through from the rocket, from Dude Man Bro, and that Anvil of Dawn. Probably smart for Oath to at least hover around that Gold Fury whenever possible, just in case Stewart steps up too far, wastes the jolt, or uses that ultimate a little bit too early.
Right. Well, now at level 5, you know, normally we talk about Oath.
Machi's never a meta pick, just a niche pick.
Did a decent spot, but Anvil of Dawn at level 5 can now really start to impact the map if Oath feels like he's got the opportunity. But also now Paul, you know, the transformations available. You know, there certainly will be some options later on in the game. Double Nemesis is something you've talked about, but can match some of the pressure that a Thor will bring out if Paul.
I feel like Herc's got to feel so bad from behind.
Sino and Sot maybe collapsing onto Oath here. Slow connects, but so does the wall from the Thor. Looks like that'll be enough just to shove away the Tartarus Titans. It had been blue buff pressure from SOT and Sino early in this game, but depending on where this Nemesis goes, kind of hovering, sees Crimson coming over from mid, and won't be a repeat performance around the blue buff. So decent call, a decent answer from the Eldritch Hounds, sensing that still maybe solo lane is where Sino wants to steal away some farm and end up blocking that trade.
Yeah, certainly could be. Especially with Paul, I mean, you always have to be looking out. We were talking about how Thor, you always got to be looking to the skies. You never know where Oath could be. You never know when you're getting ulted from. That is now applying to Paul on the Morgan. He's got Doom Orb finish.
This is looking like much more of a normal game.
Left, is he going right? Is he already ulting me?
Aurora milking the Obelisk.
Minds of the Eldritch Hounds. Pretty much every time that way.
Playing around buffs, not these crazy random fights.
You just got to be watching out for it. You could see, Oath was thinking about going to the sky after a great pull-in.
This is looking like more like a normal game.
Does not have any anti-heal yet. Went Crusher in that first slot. So you probably want to try and prioritize that Brawlers. But Ducky may have driving strike a little bit too hard. Now he's getting doped.
Oh, but the Excavate nearly kills off SOT. Sino doesn't have the damage to get it done either. And the dive, no good. But the Titans live. And the tower shots have not been kind to the Titans early here in game 2. Ducky to heal, the Excavate turns it around. So lane pressure again from the Tartarus Titans. This time,
Oath's going up.
More just makes life uncomfortable. Double tap, one more auto from Oath, and he's got the angle. It actually might have enough damage. No, Sino's got the shielding. That makes a big difference.
Oh! He missed the two!
The minions and hammers away. 2v1 for the jungler of the Eldritch Hounds.
That's a great play. I mean, Ducky pinged throughout the entirety of that.
He missed them two. That shit has a 180 arc.
Okay, now he's here. Oath, if you want to hold, he's all the way over
here.
That
shit has a 180-degree arc.
It's just about everything. And that chain lightning from the Anvil of Dawn, that extra enhanced damage was enough to put down SOT. The big lead on the side of the Tartarus Titans that is now gone. Of course, Paul is still highest farm in the game, but Ducky was able to grab a level lead over that kill and put Oath, his second of the game, which is great for the Eldritch Hounds. I'm thinking Paul just wants to get itemization online. I'm still looking to see. He's kind of walked over to right for a bit, and then
just like that, Ducky's ahead.
I'm not going to rotate over. You know, maybe he's put his finger on the ult key and then decided, you know, I'm not going to waste it. That is one of the issues with the Morgan is when you have that ultimate up and beads, you're feeling on top of the world without the ult. You can be focused out pretty easily. You want to make sure that you're only using that ult when you have a confirmed kill or if it's going to get you out of trouble. So Paul's just prioritizing farm for the moment. He's doing a good job of it.
Barrington, thanks for the primer, man.
Up until Erupt Crimson just passed him gold-wise, but they're relatively even.
Crim doing a good job slowing things down, and this Hounds team really around the mid lane. Okay, with letting some of those items stack up. Crimson is going to hurt here soon. Fully stacked Book of Thoth, Warlock Staff after that. And of course, with the passive, it'll all stack up just a little bit quicker. Tree Pockets, well, looks like, uses it. Say a red potion.
That's not how it works, bro. It's a 100% chance to hit if the guy's in front of you.
Mid gave me that idea, but
that's the whole.
Seems like Paul will be okay for the moment. I think an important turnaround game from Oath.
Hey, Dutchman, thank you so much for gifting B-Dubs a sub.
A couple missed pulls there as well.
No, it's a 0% chance if he's behind you.
The win condition diversity of this Hounds team. So much talk around Oath. And even in a game where Oath is having an off game, even being focused a bit by the Tartarus Titans, Hounds find a way to get it done. But still remains as a very viable option. Game, once again, will stabilize Trelly, and I think that's maybe what we should expect between these two teams. It was the same story in game 1. It was really the first Gold Fury fight of the game that ended up changing things around.
Oh my god, I hate you guys so much.
Regardless of the first couple of kills that swung one way or another. So when you see these solo laners rotate out, 10, 15 minutes, we have to evaluate how the team's going to look at that point, although an early Pyromancer could also be an option here, but both teams seemingly content with a slower pace. Okay, make it to the mid-game even.
It's just so risky. I mean, that Pyromancer would be big for whichever team gets it. But
first game go, Hounds won. They won like every team fight, basically.
For Oath in the sky. And then the same can be said for Paul. You never know who he's transforming into, what you're going to have to deal with, but it looks like the Tartarus Titans have decided they don't care about that. Crimson has the wraparound, and Oath is up in the sky.
Anvil of Dawn does not steal away the Pyromancer. In fact, sort of positions Oath, but Oath does get the Pyro. Will lose his life for it. Sot gallops forward. Stun doesn't matter while Crimson is in the house. And Crim's got a bit more burst, but still early in the game. Not much. It's another Anvil of Dawn as Paul has dropped the hammer. And this is a good look for the Tartarus Titans. One more, two more. Might feel great. Sot on the rotation out of solo. Paul with a double kill. These are the Titans we've been looking for.
When Sot's not on Hooler, baby.
Going for the pyro can be so rough. Of course, this was all pulled
You don't got to keep the trophy 14. You get rings. Although we haven't even gotten our rings for last year's Worlds, bro. Hyra's fucking sleeping on the wheel.
Steal that pyro, and they got it, but now you lose 4.
Haven't been able to show off my 3 rings, bro. I only have 2.
Barring a miracle from Dude Man, bro.
Haven't gotten mine from last year.
No way. He's stepping up. Massive Anvil of Dawn in from Paul, by the way. That was a huge transformation. And Sino putting so much pressure on the Crimson, forcing out that escape.
We're still waiting for my 3rd. About to get my 3rd and 4th at the same time.
They are continuously farming this game up. And Paul gets level 14 in 12 minutes.
You know what's crazy to think about, Trelly? What's today? Saturday?
Yeah.
Time just blends together constantly. You could probably make a supercut of all the times I've talked about time blending together because I just lose track of it so often. We are 6 days away from a big Anvil of Dawn on the world stage and all the cheers and noise and bass that comes along with it, with Worlds just right around the corner. In a game where there are 2 of them, a Thor plus Morgan game.
I just never ordered them. Bad
as
old
peak
Liam.
as it could get. One of these 2 teams at least will be there. Some might bet that both will make it one way or another. Only one will advance from this specific
Looking
best of
forward
5
to see who the teams
stage.
will be at Worlds.
It's the Eldritch
Good
Hounds
luck, my
in
man.
game
Here's
one
to the
who
Quadra Worlds.
punch first.
Thank you,
They
Blackbeard.
can take the Titans a bit off guard.
What is the plan here?
Now Ducky being dove. Oh, they're gonna dive him. Sure, surely it's gonna work out. They've got damage.
Oh, everyone's
now
coming.
that Aurora is here, it's a bit easier. But
I would be so mad if I was
a lot of
Ducky.
Tower damage. The pull-in only catches Quig, and that'll allow SOT to get out. Also had cavalry charge. Ducky's been the focus this game, Trelly. You know, took the game over on tier in game 1. It's been the obvious choice from the Titans to lock down this Hercules and not let him even get to mid-game at any point of comfort.
Definitely a smart call, because all the while, Sino blinking into a stun. Should be the end of this fight.
Dude, the Titans just have too much damage right now. Titans have too much. They have too much prot shred. Nem alt, Atlas alt, Guan shred. They got too much prot reduction right now, and they're just melting these guys. They're just melting them.
Sieging my Titan.
It's happening.
No one's tanky.
Speed buff. Ducky 0-3. Might fall to 0-4 here again. SOT tanking up the tower a decent bit. I don't think Ducky's going to survive it again. It has been a spearheaded, clean-cut effort. You can see the slight smirk on Ducky's face.
That's a good response.
How his game is
That's
gone.
a good
However,
response.
The Hounds, with an answer back for Paul in the mid lane. Stewart rotates out.
Yo,
He's
dive
1v3 here. Aegis beads, both used. Those are enough.
That's a good response.
80 carry of the Tartarus Titans playing with fire.
There we go.
He'll live.
They got to do something on the other side if Ducky's getting doped twice in a row.
Gank from the Titans onto Ducky, drops his Herc to 0-4.
How do you let me just dash to the tower?
Relics and ult and found a way to die there. I mean, there's a bunch of transformations you could go to. I bet he was stuck on Sino and had no other option but to transform. And at that point, you're into a nemesis. You got to imagine Guan or Thor gets you out of there. Probably scot-free, especially if you're using beads and Aegis, but a great dive from the Eldritch Hounds, trying to stop one of the premier farmers on the side of the Tartarus Titans. I mean, definitely the scariest damage-wise. But unfortunately for Ducky, there's no way he's going to survive a triple gank twice in a row. Use the beads.
Game's not lost yet.
Didn't have
Baba's ahead.
Just too much prot shred. I mean, Sino went Xe into the serrated, has his ult. SOT is also chopping away, shredding those protections, stealing them for himself.
Yep.
It's just very difficult to try and live that unless your team helps out, which they didn't. They were doing other things, but SOT gonna ult out to get Crimson's dash. Not very worth, but if he keeps healing his teammates, that'll be back soon. And Pyromancer is the call. Probably trying to get a relic down, force an ultimate, anything from or up Crimson, but he didn't have any of those things available. The ultimate, yes. But
I think the SEC team beating SPL teams is huge for Smite overall because it legitimizes the minor league, and it'll make people more motivated to play in the minor league as well.
Sot really feels at his best when on a character can still flex the mechanics a bit, but doesn't have to play slightly worried about the amount of damage that he's going to take. Now, we've seen some great Sot solo Uller games. I don't want to take that away from him, but what he's able to do on picks like this.
Titans get 2 chances to go to Worlds?
Exactly
Everyone
why
does.
He's been SPL Pro.
Everyone does.
It's made it look really good. So cavalry charge forward. Crimson.
There's a loser's
into the
bracket.
house. We'll send a firebolt or two around the side. It's because Oath on a double dunk. Maybe caught Sot off
Good
guard.
Aegis there.
And Aegis both off the
They
Thor.
couldn't kill
Paul
Sot.
sent a stun his way.
Thor has
A
cooldowns.
bit of death sentence. Ducky forward, 0-4, wanting to turn one of those zeros to ones. Won't be able to do so, but the Pyromancer, second of the game, could be for the Eldritch Hounds. Remember, the first stolen away, the second confirmed.
That was a great play by the
Small
Hounds.
victories for the Eldritch Hounds.
Yeah, Ducky is not going to let that same trick work a third time, and at least in this case, Aurora wasn't also there, applying the CC and the Prod Shred with his Gamma Ray Burst. But it was a far dive, and Up Crimson does go into the home sweet home to make
I don't know
sure
who plays
that
here.
Sino wasn't able to get in. If Sino's there, I don't think it matters how many of your team is actually
Sure.
helping you.
I didn't see the
survive.
schedule.
Ducky
Let me see
already
if I can
drive
look on the
strike, didn't have
website.
much else to walk away, and then Nemesis autos are chunking. Pyromancer goes down with the Tartarus Titans already setting up to go for the Primal Fury. Quake does not have ultimate. It's just going to be the one
Oni
that can't even
Mambo?
get it in.
Primal Fury.
Oni Mambo's next.
Goes to the Titans. Quig
That's
might
it.
go to the Titans as well. Swings up and over, and he's going to get pulled back by Aurora. That's one dead Maui. Stewart, his first kill of the game. Paul transforms into the Thor. There's an Anvil of Dawn up. It'll land on Krim, who uses the beads. And the Cauldron away will be enough. Ducky. I was going to say, where Doodman Bro's trying to go here. Rockets in. Ends up working his way away from the fight. Again, clean effort here from the Titans. Regrouping, playing as a team, realizing they've got the gold advantage and the momentum advantage here in game 2. And a tier 1 tower to boot.
That's
Looks
going to
like
be
just a bit more
juicy.
pressure on the
Damn, the
right
games
side,
today
but
are
back it up, spinning the
good.
Yeah, smart call.
Titans lose. They're out of.
Respect
No,
after
they
that
go to the
fight
losers
and
bracket.
getting the Fury.
No one's out of the running today.
Yeah, should
Today's
be
the winner
good.
bracket
Sino's
finals,
been back
basically.
a minute. He's been sitting
Today's
on
the
that
winner bracket
Serenity
finals.
Maxi for a while. Taking this fight could be risky, but here comes Stu, and that's why Sino feels confident.
Can Dudeman Bro make a play? No, way too much pressure. Is that a taunt dropped by Sino even? Look, anything you can do to weaken the mental of Dudeman Bro is going to go a long way. That guy plays fearless. And another one for Sino, who needed one, I think, after game 1. The Chalk Jungle was certainly a big swing, but
That Nem can kill this Danza on
miss for the
cooldown.
Titans in
Easy.
the first game. So 4-1-5, all 9
You want
effective
to watch Oni
kills
versus Mama? Me too.
for the jungler of the
I can't wait
Titans.
to watch this set too.
And
This set's been
ineffective
great so
kills
far.
for SOT.
Today is
And
just
then
a great
7
day for
Aurora.
Smite.
You get the idea
Smite
here. A
games.
lot of it's been over there towards the soul lane, and it's seemingly paid off. 1.5 to 2 level lead in the jungle for Sino. And this Nemesis, what do the deaths talk about? Kind of a mid-game power spike. Well, we're there. We're even getting to early, late game. Sino's very, very strong for this point.
Yeah, no one's really tanky when Sino's around with this build, especially if Aurora's able to help out with that Gamma Ray Burst. And that's what's been consistently happening to Ducky and pretty much the entirety of the Eldritch Hounds. Because you said it, Sino's a part of every single kill. So you got to watch out for that play. It looks like a grouping around Fire Giant. No one's starting up just yet, though. Aurora has dropped the Bracer, wants to try and go for something, but looking to poke more often than not to see what they can pick up. Finally, Aurora starts it up, and the Fire Giant will look to be burned, but you gotta look out for Oath. This has got to be a bait for Anvil of Dawn.
Fire Giant's at half. Oath holds on, though. Anvil of Dawn not used. Could this be the game-ending fight? Could we be guaranteed
That's
a
amazing,
game
B-dubs.
4?
That sounds awesome.
Titans in a power position. Ducky's the first one in. Not sure that's where he wants to be. Double pull, though, from Ducky. Double push as well. Excavate. He's done it all, but there's no damage on the follow-up. Dudeman Bro is low, and the rocket sends him off to the side. He lives for just a bit of time. Up, down from Paul as the Thor transformation's been paying off. Sot with 2. Here come the Titans right down Main Street. And 3 of the Hounds are gone. Should be an FG as Paul plays zone.
Yeah, Paul's just zone duty at this point. Quig and Oath have to back
They don't
up.
have
Just
enough
get them
damage
from a
on the
beautiful fight.
Eldritch Hounds.
That's what I'm talking about. That Thor ult from Paul in this case was absolutely massive. The Eldritch Hounds grouping up, trying
They don't
to
have enough
defend
damage to
together.
kill anybody.
Just not going to work out. And Oath might get caught out once again. He doesn't realize how close the Tartarus Titans are. Looks like was able to hide for the time being. They realize, hey, we don't even have to chase. Let's just go in for this tier 2 tower. We got
They
plenty
have
of
no
time.
kill potential
Ducky's
on
not back
anybody
for
right
10.
now.
Dudeman Bro for 9. Might as well go for the mid Phoenix as well.
Mid Phoenix feels great for the Titans. Quig gets no one with the island. And the Phoenix an afterthought. All 5 of the Titans still with FG buff. There's no pushback on the defense from the Eldritch Hounds. Respawns just now rolling through. Feels like a Verge. on the verge of a Tartarus Titans Game 2 win here. Things have really broken open. I think your only opportunity if you're the Hounds here, Trelly, is if your defense is somehow miraculous. Now, we've seen Ducky on Hercules on defense, and it's looked good. I don't know if it's looked 9,000 gold difference good, though.
And the issue is Ducky just can't live, right? I mean, he's 0-5 at the moment. Not because of any fault of his own. It really has just been the Tartarus Titans have said, hey.
They've chosen him.
Yeah, we are picking one member of the Hounds, and in this case, it's going to be Ducky. We're going to shred through him. Driving strike down. Okay, horse into the ult. Very easy. Very free kill. And if Ducky's trying to be the frontliner with Runeforge, Glad Shield, and Wingblade, it's not going to help much. You got to have the beads for the stun off the cavalry charge and the Wingblade to proc off those ultimates. Eventually, you're going to be getting locked in place, and that's when those Nemesis autos reign true, especially if Paul is able to connect as well with one of his transformations. So it's definitely not easy.
Well, the Baba just needs time to get online.
These pulls could still be clutch.
Once Baba has
GL at Worlds next week.
Thank you so much.
Kisame,
thank you. Once Baba has her starter upgraded, like Baba needs 4 items on her starter to start doing damage. That's why she doesn't get played that much because she's a scaling god.
So much extra gold. No one is tanky to them. And it doesn't seem
like before she gets her starter, she's
really dealt with since he started getting his transformations.
She's on the weak side, especially if your team is getting pushed in like this.
Has been free casting in these engagements.
Yeah, you're relying on a mess up here from the Tartarus Titans. If you're the Eldritch Hounds, they have not messed up in putting all their pressure towards Ducky. Backline is found by Sino. The Nemesis will chunk some damage. Paul, where'd he come from? That's a Thor transformation. That was just Morgan. He stealthed in and found the delete key. Anvil of Dawn backwards from Paul. And Paul's feeling himself. I think he is. If he's feeling himself more, I think we're taking that Anvil of Dawn a bit further forward. But safety is the name of the game. Now, right side Phoenix, defended by the Hounds, down a jungler.
I would probably give this up. If they're going to die, I would just give it up, personally.
Man, Sino.
We'll see if they can defend, though.
He's just been walking into the back line. I mean, it's simple. It's about as easy as it gets for the Nemesis, but maybe should have thought twice. Excavate does not hit Sino. Right side Phoenix will fall. Would have been nice to get the Nemesis off the map, but this is clean. This is clinical from the Titans, not requiring massive team fights. Just an individual pick here or there opens the door.
Yeah, now the Hounds have to try and scout for whatever farm they get before the Tartarus Titans start their next siege. Fire Giant falls off in 30 seconds, but with the lead that the Tartarus Titans have, I mean, they don't really have to wait for fire. They could just push in slowly. It's been Sino with the wraparound, Paul stealthing in, SOT with some good engage, Aurora applying that prod shred, and Stewart just staying alive and shredding. Everyone's doing their jobs. Unfortunately for the Hounds, they just can't find an opening, right? Your tanks aren't tanky, your carries don't do damage. The setup is just not there. And they just have to sit back and wait. Not to say that with Phoenix on their side, with their well being so close, they could back up, get some extra regen, find a pick. It just, you gotta hope the Tartarus Titans mess up at this point. It's not even what you could do well. It's what they do poorly, and so far it's been nothing.
Right, you're hoping. Yeah, again, you know, game 1 was fantastic from the Hounds, but compositionally.
Are they listening to the forfeit?
This is a
gee, I don't know.
From a team that I think everyone had slated, guaranteed advancing from this group. 1-2-0 against the Ravens. We're a bit shaky in game 2, but
you're gonna make a sandwich after this,
now
bro.
a surge back showed us why they're this group's favorites in the second game of the set. Fire Giant will spawn up in 30. Good news for the Hounds. Mid lane Phoenix is back. Right side Phoenix is the one you're defending, so you're on the right side of the map anyway, and you've got a Trebuchet, though that'll get dealt with pretty quickly by the Titans. So if you're gonna defend or try to steal the Fire Giant, you're going to be able to
pick is really good into Donza too.
Without much wave pressure.
Donza can't really avoid them.
So what we saw the Titans do, remember, in game 1, kind of a sneaky.
Donza is one of those characters that likes to sit there and trade and fight with his 3. But the Nemalt kind of just
Hounds will not elect for that type of play.
Fucks up that whole plan.
But it does look like Trelly. They're going to set up the defense over here by the FG.
Yeah, they've got the freedom to do so. I mean, that right side bird's not going to be a problem. Fire minions have been.
That's like all their casters flash.
Trebuchet pushing out, so unless the Tartarus Titans just stall out that right wave, they really can just sit back and try and fight this. And it's not like you can just pull Fire Giant. Once again, you're baiting out Anvil of Dawn, or else you're looking for a fight. It's too dangerous. You can see Sino wants the wraparound. Paul keeps stealthing, but Oath's onto this. He's going to make sure there's no one wrapping around his backline, and Fire Giant has been started up.
FG is at half. The Hounds either need to steal it or win a fight. Oath will hammer away. Sino's dropped ult. So a small win, actually.
That is a win for the
Oath
Hounds.
will take about half of his HP
Sino
and
no
damage.
ult is huge.
Go back to base, though, it looks like. No, the Thor will cancel his back. Sino ushering minions down mid. So without Divine Judgment for a little bit of time here, is that enough? I mean, Sino's been a menace in the back of these fights with that ultimate. But the gold lead's still so massive, one ultimate's not going to make the difference. Definitely not with Ishtar on the shred with a little bit of crit. Tartarus Titans get Fire Giant on 5 with no big pushback from the Eldritch Hounds.
Yeah, that Trebuchet on left was starting to be a problem, and it looks like the call from the Hounds was just, hey, let's retreat. No reason to give up our lives for this one. It's not Enhanced Fire Giant, maybe. We form a defense under our last 2 Phoenixes, but no way. We're going to throw the game on this siege. Probably a smart call. Your fight is much better underneath your own Phoenixes. Tartarus Titans have everything available except for Sino's Blink. That ultimate is almost back off cooldown, but it looks like it's not going to be for this first Phoenix siege.
Oh, Ducky hit that bull. Could have been something.
Quick. That's got to be the start of the fight. If not,
Thor wall into Ducky bull push.
They just shred through everything slowly but surely. Right side bird's gone. And Sino
Bro, if I was the Hounds, I would just ban Sino out.
The back.
Every game.
All of the Eldritch Hounds here. Oath. Though a full item
if I was the
down,
Hounds,
so
I would
strong
ban.
enough to poke down some
Well, I'd leave the
Phoenix
chalk
balls
open.
to
Who cares?
push
I would
this
ban
fight.
them,
Ducky was looking
Morgan.
for a pull. Start something off. Nice little
And then
burst
after that,
of
whatever
heal
they
at
want.
the end of that engagement allows the Hercules to walk forward.
Neb
Now
Morgan's
left side
set.
minions have arrived.
Neb
Paul
Morgan's
is
set
there.
against the Titans.
That's a little bit of damage for Dude Man Bro if Paul, or Dude Man Bro rather, steps too far forward. Now Sino with the rest of his team. Good damage into this Nemesis. This is not simple for the Titans by any means. You need Sa to open the door, and you need Paul to kick the Hounds through it. It's Grim, stunned by Paul on the Thor transformation. Oath will melt as well. He'll take a killing spree to the grave, but it's Sa doing one better, a rampage. As the Tartarus Titans will walk in, they will win game 2, they'll tie up the set, and we're at least going 4.
Definitely looking for that. Good pull in by Ducky to stall this one, but so much damage coming from the Tartarus Titans. You gotta think that having Paul on the Morgan is just too much to deal with. I didn't think it was gonna be that much of an issue.